As you all know, banks are pain in the asses. Am I right? We all know that. I'm building a house right now. I can vouch for it's been a little bit of a pain getting everything involved and getting everything done. Crypto and the Meld project may have just found a solution for that. All right, guys, let's go ahead and get into this video. So what is Meld? Meld is a very similar project to Celsius and several others via a banking system that's going to be ran through crypto and kind of based on crypto. However, what they're going to do is they're going to also include fiat currencies and your more normal banking protocols into their project. This is something where we have not really merged the DeFi system and that decentralization with the centralization of the banks until now. And I have been really stirring about this project because I've really been looking at it for a couple months now, and I really like it, and I like the ideas of it. There are still a couple question marks that I'll go over at the end because we're going to give you the long and the short of everything, but overall, I like the idea, I like the team, I like the founders, I like where it's going, and I think Meld has a potential to really be a breakthrough system in the crypto community. So Meld is very similar to kind of the Celsius project. I'm not going to go into it because this video would already be too long if I did, but the big differences there that I can tell is that Celsius, you kind of get your keys taken and you're not going to have access to them. In Meld, you keep your keys and you keep all that as your own. And that is probably the biggest difference that we have from Celsius to Meld. Jumping into Meld's website here, which is a very cool and easy to use website. If you guys haven't read their white paper, we're going to get into that just a little bit today, but I do believe it's worth reading about, especially if you're interested. Some things I want to do in the other videos I've seen on Meld is that they're a little bit tough to understand. I really want to simplify it for you and why the use case is out in the real world right now, because that's the only important part. If people aren't going to actually use it, what's it really worth? Am I right? I mean, in the long run, if it's not going to grow and you're not going to have more users, then why is it? And that's why I think Meld's going to be big, is because I think the potential is there for them to get big users. All right, so I do want to get into really quick, kind of, it's built on obviously the Cardano blockchain. You guys pretty much all know that, but built on Cardano, which I do love. It's decentralized and trustless. It's truly decentralized because, again, you're not losing your keys. It's more centralized if you're losing your keys and things like that. So truly decentralized. Stable yield, your earnings. We'll get into the yield here in a little bit. I just want to show you guys their team. Their team looks absolutely legit. How it works, we'll go over all that in a second. Their roadmap, their 2021's already done. Their roadmap 2022, which I think just came out like full on yesterday. I didn't even get into it that much because it was just past what I wanted this video to be about. I do want to show you guys their team. Ken Oling, he's been great. I've seen several interviews from him. I highly suggest going to watch him. Digital Asset News has a great interview with him that I've seen a couple months ago that I remember. He's done great. Hai, who is kind of their CTO, he's great. He's been in several other crypto projects as well, but their team is just, it's legit. This is what you want to see from a project like this. This is exactly how you want to see it. Advisors, so on and so forth. As you guys can see, they're pretty well backed, they're pretty well versed, and they have a great strategy for going forward and into the future. They have everything laid out very meticulously. Just read their white paper, go through their roadmaps, and you can see exactly when things are going to be done, exactly how they're going to be done, where they plan to go and when. So it is a very, from the standpoint of just optics, it's a very good looking project to me. All right, so let's get into some of the features of Meld and why you would actually use Meld. Anybody can look at their website, anybody can scroll through, but I want to tell you guys exactly why you would use Meld and why I'm looking at this project and thinking about investing in it so heavily and maybe even just using it one day. Number one, you're going to have to put up 2-to-1 crypto. On one of their Genius loan is basically what you'd have to do is you'd have to have, let's say you want something $25,000 or you want $50,000. Then you would have to essentially put up double that in crypto, either ADA, they take BNB, they take Bitcoin, and they take Ethereum. So any four of those, you can put up a 2-to-1 ratio in that crypto so you can get the fiat money back. Now, that doesn't seem... The problem with that, not the problem, but what you're going to have to do is you're going to have double the crypto to be able to get that loan. Am I right? But it's going to be a much lower interest rate. It's going to be not as the lowest one they offer, but lower than what you would expect, and it'd be a whole lot lower than if you just turn to some credit card, which you could rack up. Here's a question that I'm going to get is how are they going to partner with banks? Obviously, the fiat money's coming in that the fiat borrower is going to get. How do they partner with banks? How are they going to kind of get this decentralized, applications and the centralized idea to kind of form together. Anybody with a bank account can really be used, and it will work with them, because you're going to put up your liquidity or your cash that's in a bank, and you're going to let Meld use it. And what's going to happen then is that you're going to earn a bunch of interest, and you're going to earn Meld tokens on top of that. So not only are you going to be getting paid on interest, instead of the 0.00 or 0.01% you're going to get from your bank, you're going to be getting 5, 6, 7% on your money that you're going to allow Meld to use. And Meld's going to say, hey, we appreciate it. Boom, here is some Meld tokens you're going to get dropped, over a certain amount of time. That right there is awesome. And I think if Meld does grow, you're getting literally paid to put up your money that you're already getting paid on. What bank in the whole centralization community can say that? Absolutely none. Why is this so important, and why is it going to be more cheaper? That's going to be something that should be asked, and you should ask that yourself, is what's the catch, Colin? There's got to be a catch-22. There's always a catch. There's always something wrong. Well, maybe. I don't really think there is, because what they're doing, essentially, what Meld's doing, is they're cutting out the middlemen. They're cutting out the person that's got to, the receptionist that's got to talk to you, the loan officer that's got to make his cut, the bank that's got to make their cut, the bank's, underwriters got to make their cut. Then you've got to pay for the board. Then all of your money, and when you're getting a house, or you're getting this and you're getting these fees, it gets chopped up. And trust me, I'm going through the process right now, chopped up into tiny little pieces, and it gets just distributed to all these people, and you don't even know where your money's going. You're just paying all these extra fines and fees. That's why when you buy a house, you don't realize, I'm literally going through it right now. I'm like, oh my gosh, this fee, a paper fee. What's a paper fee? I'm like, I gotta pay $1,000 for paper pushing. Those are the kind of things that you're going to be able to cut out, and why they can offer these interest rates at the levels they can, and why they can offer you getting money back if you're the fiat. If you're going to add your liquidity, then that's why you're going to get Meld tokens back as well. Now, what is in it for Meld? Because it sounds like a pretty good deal for anybody that's not Meld. Am I right? Meld's going to make their money, trust me. So what Meld does is they're going to take your crypto or your collateral that you're going to use for one of their, they have several different types of loans, but we're focusing on the crypto one. So they have crypto to crypto loans, which is almost 0% interest. I digress. But what they're going to do is, with your collateral, they're going to put it in one of their very deep pools. Okay, they're going to put it in one of their deep liquidity pools, where they're going to do some stable coin things and things like that, but they're going to earn so much APY on it that they're going to make their money off the cut of the yield and things like that. So again, these liquidity pools for them are going to be so deep in the Meld vault, and this is pretty much explained by Ken Oleg, and it's completely laid out in the white paper. They're going to be able to make their money just cutting it off of that. They don't want any of your money. They don't want any of your crypto. They want you to keep your crypto. They want you to have your crypto just on smart contracts through the blockchain. They want you to keep it all. They just want to use it kind of like they did in the ISPO when they first launched. On top of all this, the fiat borrower, so let's say I'm borrowing the money, I'm borrowing the cash, I need the cash, I'm also going to earn Meld tokens too. It's not just the person providing the liquidity from the bank or the cash. Me, myself, will also be getting it from the crypto that I have collateral as well. So you're not only giving and essentially kind of halfway staking, quote unquote, your crypto, and everybody's getting a little piece of that, but you are also getting it. And here's the crazy and the most beautiful thing about it: it's going to go off to pay off your loan. So you may not even need to pay really anything. If your collateral is enough, pay the interest payments or whatever it may be on the loan. This is where the number one use case, in my opinion, for Meld is going to come in, which we're going to talk about just a little bit later. But think about that. You're going to take out a loan that you essentially don't have to pay anything on, because your interest or your APY or your yield, whatever you want to call it here, is paying that for you. That's beautiful. That's insane. Now there's going to be some issues that come with that. Number one, that you should be asking yourself if you're ever going to think about doing this, is what happens when the market crashes and my crypto goes down? Well, that's a problem, because you're going to have to put up the collateral. So you better have a lot more ADA to put in there and collateralize it up to 2-to-1 ratio. Am I right? Because if you can't do that, then they're going to sell your crypto, and it lays it out in the white paper, sell your crypto for however much it's down. Let's look in that really quick. All right, guys. So let's look into the loan loan safety levels. This is something you're really going to want to pay attention to, especially if you plan on doing this, which I do. So this is something that's going to be important. What we're going to do is jump into the loan safety levels. The loan safety levels right here in the middle basically is going to tell you all you need to know that if the market crashes, what you have to do with your crypto. For crypto-backed loans, a user is able to withdraw fiat USDT up to 50% of the value. Okay, we obviously know that. That represents 50% of the LTV. So you've got to know that going in, that loan to value ratio has to stay at that level. If the LTV of the user reaches 85%, a liquidation event will occur. That means they're basically going to be selling your collateral eventually. So if the collateral falls to LTV 65%, or if it stays above 50% for more than 3 days, a margin call occurs. The user receives a notification when the LTV reaches 75% or stays above 65% for more than 3 days. The customer must add liquidity to reduce it. Basically, a margin call means they're coming to get your money. It's called a cash call too. So if you allow it to drop down for more than 3 days for a certain amount of percentage, so let's say your ADA keeps dropping, and they're going to let you know, and then after those 3 days are up and it keeps dropping, guess what? They're selling your ADA, they're taking it, and they're gonna make their money. They're gonna pay off the loan, and they're gonna take whatever's left of the money, or they can leave it in ADA, whatever they want to do. So that is an issue. But the good thing is, it's not an issue. The good thing is you just have to be on top of it. Remember, decentralization means you're on top of your finances. No one's running it for you. That's the beauty of it. That's why Meld, I really think this thing could work. I mean, it is a great and is outside the box idea as far as how you're gonna pay things back and cut interest rates and not pay those taxes anymore. I mean, that's huge, right? Uncle Sam might come knocking eventually, but for now, it's looking pretty good. All right, guys, to start finishing up this video, I do want to apply some real world examples. I'm obviously building a house. I've mentioned that several times, but think about the things you have to jump through for building a house. How many times you have to go to the bank, how many times you have to get the loans, how many pieces of paper you got to push through your loan officer, and this and that. It is a pain in the butt. That if you had enough money and enough crypto to be able to cover that, this would 100% be the way to do it, like by far. But the issue is there's also an issue with credit, which I'm going to go into a little bit later. But with being able to skip some of the taxes on the houses, some of the paper cutting, some of the middlemen, overall it's going to save you tons of money, and you're going to be making money on top of you paying off your loan via your crypto. It doesn't get much better than that. Okay, so why would you use this and who would use this? And here comes with some issues, is that you have to have a lot of crypto. I've said that. It's noted. We get it, Colin. We get it. You've got to have a lot of crypto, which means you've got to have some funds sitting there. So what I'm trying to say to you is why people would use this is, let's say someone needs a second house. As you know, the richest people in the world, what do? They do not sell their appreciating assets. The assets crypto are getting bigger and getting more expensive and getting higher value. Am I right? They don't want to sell it. They want to make money off of it. So how do you do that? Meld is giving you the opportunity to buy what you want to buy, aka a second home, a second condo. Buy it with the Meld fiat you borrowed from the liquidity, from the bank that Meld got for you. You buy the condo with it wherever you want to be, and your Cardano, your BNB, your ETH, or whatever is actually paying for that loan, and you're not paying any interest on it, and it keeps growing and growing and growing because you're not selling any of it. So not only are you not making payments, because you really don't have to, because if you have enough ETH and it keeps going up and things are going well, or BNB or whatever, whichever one you choose, you don't have to sell it, and it's going to be creating you money and yield and interest that is going to go to your payments. That's why you would do it, is that rich people find a way to not pay the taxes on it and to be able to roll it into different things. It's very similar to what you're doing real estate wise, just into crypto. It's very similar that way. I know Grant Cardone's huge on it. I know a lot of other people, but the richest of the rich people, they don't spend their appreciating assets. They make money off of them to pay their bills, to then make their cash as they grow. They don't sell it. They figure out a way to leverage it. And that is what Meld is ultimately trying to do. The second reason for more people like you and I, where we can't just go out and buy a $500,000 condo in Mexico, although it would be cool to chill there. But That's not us, am I right? Think of credit cards. Your normal average credit card percentage rate, if you just normally pay it down, is about 12% to 20%. And usually they say it's about 15%. Holy crap, that's huge, right? In Meld, you wouldn't have to do that again. If you went out and just took out your fiat loan, it would be a whole lot easier to pay off whatever you wanted to with your credit card. Or let's say you just made, like, hey, we're like, for us, we bought a bunch of furniture on our credit card just to get some measly points that really isn't going to add up enough. Had I known more about this, or if this was, it's not set 100% in motion yet, but let's say that this was ready to go, Meld was ready to rock, I would have just borrowed it. I would have put up the ADA that I have, and honestly, I would have borrowed against it, not had to pay off my furniture, and that's where I would have spent it. Is that I would have bought all my furniture for our new house via Meld. I would have 100% done that had it been, if it was a little bit further down the stage. Now, I know it's getting there, but it's not quite there yet. There's still some hoops I got to jump through. Another important aspect is, what is your rates defined by? What are they actually defined by? Well, they're going to be defined by the risk oracle that they have, that is going to be based off several different measures. So you're probably going to get a much lower interest rate. There's obviously different than you'd get otherwise, but I do want to add in there that they are going to change and they're going to be manipulated depending on, you know, some of what the centralization financing is doing, some what the decentralization finance is doing, and they'll kind of merge that together. Finally, let's get into, where will Meld be in 5 years, 2 years? Where will Meld be tomorrow? I don't know, but there are some questions that I have for Meld right now, and some things that I'm like, they're gonna have to shore this up before, you know, we see a lot of people using it and adopting it. My first one I've already addressed a bunch. Volatile market. What happens there? People don't obviously have to pay it. Then they've got to come back with crypto. Are they scared of losing their crypto? Do they think that's too much of an interest? If Cardano tanks like it has, do I have enough fiat currency to then go buy more Cardano or switch it into Cardano if I have to bridge it from, you know, a different crypto and then bring it back and give it to you guys within 3 days? Like, that all takes time. So that's definitely a question that I have. The next question I have, will the government even allow it? There's going to be regulation. There's going to be SEC clauses. There's going to be issues going on. We all see what's going on with XRP. I'm not getting into that at all. But when this gets more massively adopted, you're going to see more issues arise. You're going to see more questions. You're going to see more white tape or red tape kind of cut. So what's going to happen? Can it even work in the U.S.? I don't know. Those are going to be questions that aren't exactly, you know, answered right now, with this being more based in Singapore. Right now, it's looking like it has a very good and bright future, but there will be some bumps along the way until they get things figured out. Finally, will there be enough users to make it really worthwhile? Will there be enough of those people willing to buy their condos, willing to buy their furniture, willing to take out more of a loan versus doing, you know, running up their credit cards? I think there will be in the crypto space, because a lot of us are truly about decentralization, but that's something that's very important to me. Will there be enough active users and big enough liquidity pools and big enough yield pools and big enough, will Meld have a big enough vault to make all this happen? Also, really quickly before we get in the end, you guys have to like and subscribe to the video. If you guys like the video, if you got anything out of it, I'd really appreciate it if you'd hit that like button. If you'd subscribe to the channel, it goes a long way to pushing out this content to more people. Crypto boys are growing fast, so you know how it is. Like and subscribe. So in a very quick nutshell, that's kind of what Meld is. That's kind of where Meld's going, and that's what I've kind of taken from reading the white paper, watching a bunch of other things on it. I've been really researching this project for weeks and weeks, and it's something that really has caught my eye. I like it. I love the founders. I like where they're going. I like how it's all laid out, and I truly believe that this is going to work. Even if it's not in the US right away and it's working other places, the US will eventually adopt it. We have been seeing more and more adoption from US and just getting into the crypto space as we move along, and I think Meld's going to be huge. Obviously there's going to be, you know, bridging that centralization finance, a CeFi, and bridging that DeFi together to make all this work, but I think it can happen. What do you guys think? Let me know down in the comments below. Are you a Meld fan? Do you not think it's going to happen? Is it too complicated? Is it too much crypto? Is there too much crypto you have to put up to make the fiat money you want? Do you believe in this sort of banking system on crypto? I'm pretty much sold on it, I'll be honest with you. But let me know your thoughts in the comments. I'd be very curious to see where you're at with Meld and where you're at with other projects as well. Or if you want me to look into other projects, I'd love to check those out too. But as always, guys, we just appreciate you rocking with the fittest crypto channel on YouTube. I am out.